North Frisian is a minority language of Germany, spoken by about 30,000 people in North Frisia. The language is part of the larger group of the West Germanic Frisian languages. Classification: the closest relatives of North Frisian are the two other Frisian languages, the Satterland Frisian of northwestern Lower Saxony, Germany, and the West Frisian language spoken in the northern Netherlands. Together these three subgroups form the group of Frisian languages. The English language is also closely related to Frisian. The two languages are classified in a common Anglo-Frisian group. Anglo-Frisian is grouped among the Invonic languages together with Low German. The related Low German has developed differently since Old Saxon times and has lost many Invonic characteristics. Dialects. Overview. The North Frisian dialects can be grouped into two main dialectal divisions, those of the mainland and the insular dialects. All in all, these two groups comprise 10 dialects. The dialect spoken on the Halligen is one of the mainland dialects though. Typically one distinguishes between the following 10 dialects that have been spoken since the beginning of Frisian linguistic studies in the 19th century. Insular North Frisian, Silt Frisian, Far Paragraph HR Amram Frisian, Heligolandic Frisian, Mainland North Frisian, Widdingard Frisian, Bar Paragraph Kingard Frisian, Cahard Frisian, Northern Goeschard Frisian, Central Goeschard Frisian, Southern Goeschard Frisian, Halligen Frisian. The mainland and insular dialects clearly differ from each other because they were shaped by Frisian immigrants during several different centuries. The islands of Silt, Far Paragraph HR and Amram were colonized around 800 while the mainland was settled by Frisians in AD 1100. Add to this the various influences of neighboring languages on the dialects. On Silt, Far Paragraph HR and Amram as well as in parts of the northern mainland there is a strong Danish influence, whereas on Heligoland and the rest of mainland North Frisia the Low German influence is predominant. Moreover, there has historically only been a limited exchange between the dialects so that hardly any lingua franca could develop and there was no cultural center in North Frisia whose dialect would have been able to take a leading role. Samples. The sentence displayed below in many variants reads, "Shine, old moon, shine." Cried Har currency Wellman, but the moon was nowhere to be seen and the stars neither. They had all already gone to bed. Insular, Zar paragraph ring, a euro judged, Walmaon, judged. A euro screelt Har currency Wellman, Mandi Maon Yarn Narragent Har paragraph Senenik D Stieranek. Jyral Altamalt Har paragraph Bar Gingen. Ferring AA paragraph Mrang, a euro locked, Walmaon, locked. A euro rep he Wellman, Man Amaon Yanoshua and a Senan A star currency Renukai. Joerl Altamalta Bart Gingen. Heligolandic, a euro locked, Yulmaon, locked. A euro ra 1/4 p hey currency Wellman, Oas de Maon where Nani to shine a euro unregistered trademark Henenik de Stern ni. Joerl Malta Bart Gingen. Mainland, Northern Goeschard Frisian, Horning a fra currency-ish variety of Langen horn, a euro jocked, Almon, jocked. A euro beaked Har currency Wellmoon, Ozimon wars na currency RNGS to show 1/4 nanosecond a currency Endar Stirok I. Jarwin al Altabid Gingen. Widdingard Frisian, a euro ljotcht, Almoon, ljotcht. A euro beaked Har currency Wongyuan, Ma currency Northeast Moon was na currency RGN to show 1/4 nanosecond a currency Enuki Stir I. Jar currency Y 1/4 RN al Alto Malta Beard Gingen. Halligen Frisian, a euro jarked, Whale Ma paragraph a paragraph Ni, jarked. A euro bar paragraph LKED Har currency Wellmoon, Manda Ma paragraph a paragraph Ni Woas na currency RNGS to see in the currency Enda Stirugie. Jar currency Win al Altamel to be Janjan. Mirroring, a euro jucked, a 1/4 Ljemon, jucked. A euro bulged Har currency Wellmoon, Uzimon woos nan to show 1/4 nanosecond a currency Ne star currency Riek I. Jar WJARNENLANLTUMA gamma yen litabidlim. Note that, despite the differences between the dialects, The Fering and AA paragraph mrang are highly similar. In this example nearly identical. The following table further demonstrates the similarities and differences between the various dialects. Extinct dialects North Frisian dialects on the Eiderstedt Peninsula were abandoned in favor of Low German during the 17th century. In contrast to the Northern Hundreds, Eiderstedt was economically strong and wealthy and was oriented towards the southern, Low German parts of Schleswig-Holstein. Moreover, there was a strong Dutch immigration during the 16th century. A similar situation was to be found on the island of Strand, which was destroyed during the Birchardie flood. The population of the eastern, remaining part of Strand, the modern Nordstrand, did not succeed in rebuilding the dikes on their own. Therefore, many Frisian-speaking people left their homeland on Strand or were otherwise not able to maintain their native language against mostly Dutch-speaking immigrants. On Pelworm, the western remainder of Strand, the repair of the dikes was quickly accomplished and so the Frisian language was still spoken in the 18th century, until it also vanished due to changes in population structure. The Old Strand Frisian was presumably closest to Halligen Frisian. Likewise close to Halligen Frisian was the Wyk Frisian that used to be spoken in Wyk paragraph HR until the town completely shifted to Low German. The Wyk dialect is thought to have developed from the dialects of immigrants from the Halligen and Strand Island. The dialect that most recently died out is Southern Goeschard Frisian, which became extinct with the death of its last speaker in 1981. Other mainland dialects are also facing extinction. The North Frisian language is now extinct north of the German-Danish border, but it is estimated that Frisian dialects were once spoken there as well. Self-designation Due to the large number of dialects, there is no original native name for the North Frisian language as such. For example, the Widdingard and Halligen Frisians call their language Friesk, in the Bar paragraph Kingard it is called Frasch, and in the Goeschard likewise Frakarensiisch or Friesch. While these names all translate to Frisian, the native names of the insular dialects refer to the particular islands as in Fering, AA paragraph Mrang, Saar paragraph Lring or Hallander. For example, Frisian would mean Fresk in the Far paragraph HR dialect. The North Frisians eventually agreed upon the interdialectal name Friesk, which corresponds to the West Frisian native name Frisk. This designation is today mostly used when the North Frisian collectivity is addressed or in the names of official institutions such as Nordfrisk Institute, Frisk Vereinigung or Frisk Currency TS. The northern section of the Inter-Frisian Council has however kept its name Frasch Currency DJ in the Murring dialect. Phonology. Despite the strong differences among the North Frisian dialects, there are still some traits of phonology that are more or less common to all dialects. Among them is the vowel reduction from E to A, which is mostly complete in the central dialects, but has only arrived at the stage E or A in the periphery. For example, the word fish translates to Murring Fash, Fering AA paragraph Mrang Fask, but Saar paragraph Lring Fesk. The distribution of the lenition of the unvoiced plosives P, T and K is similar, as these consonants have become voiced plosives and partially even developed to fricatives in the central dialects. This can be demonstrated from the verb to know Murring wars, Fering AA paragraph Mrang Wed, Saar paragraph Lring wheat, Hallander wet. The North Frisian dialects differ from modern Standard German by a more diverse system of vowels and consonants. All dialects have in common an additional line of palatalizations, which is uncommon for a Germanic language. Until recently, an additional number of dental consonants that change the meaning of a word was known in the dialect of Far paragraph HR. In general, it can be noted that the insular dialects feature a relatively complicated consonantal system while the mainland dialects have more diverse vowels. As a recent development, the phonological system of the North Frisian dialects is strongly being influenced by Standard German and is slowly adapting to the system of the German language. Current situation. Officially, the number of North Frisian speakers ranges from 8,000 to 10,000, but linguists propose significantly lower numbers. In 2007, a RAMA estimated a total of 5,000 speakers within and 1,500 to 2,000 speakers outside North Frisia proper. Exact surveys do not exist. North Frisian is an endangered language, as in most places children no longer learn it. In UNESCO's Red Book of Endangered Languages, North Frisian is classified as seriously endangered. Exceptions are a few villages on the islands of Far Paragraph HR and Amrum and the Rissam Lindum area. Especially in the western parts of Far Paragraph HR, the language community is still relatively sound. The number of speakers on Far Paragraph HR and Amrum alone is estimated to around 3,500. The other dialects are in fact seriously endangered, like Kahad Frisian, Central Goeshard and Halligan Frisian. The elementary and grammar school on Amrum is called AA Paragraph Mrang School and among other subjects focuses on teaching the local dialect. Ferring is also taught in schools on Far Paragraph HR and the Rissam Skol Rysumsha Paragraph LJ in Rissam Lindum on the mainland is a combined Danish Frisian elementary school. All speakers of North Frisian are at least bilingual. Many are trilingual and, especially along the Danish border, quadrilingualism used to be widespread. In Schleswig-Holstein, the North Frisian language is protected by the European Charter for Regional or Minority Languages as a minority language. On December 24, 2004 a state law became effective in Schleswig-Holstein that recognizes the North Frisian language for official use in the Nordfriesland district and on Heligoland. See also, Frisian languages, North Frisia, Frisians, Frisian Islands. References, General references, Walker, Alistair G.H. Omo Wilts. Die Nordfriesischen Mundarten. In Horst H. Munsk. Handbuch des Friesischen Handbook of Frisian Studies. Tar 1 Quarter Bingen, Nemia. ISBN 3-484-73048-X. Citations. External links, Nordfriesk Institute homepage, Frieskvorlining homepage, Frieskvorlining.